Prime Minister Christopher Luxon says he expects Associate Education Minister David Seymour to give continued problems with the new school lunch program his full attention. It comes after Checkpoint has revealed concerns from West Auckland schools about lunches being repetitive, delivered late and failing to meet dietary requirements. Since the Lincoln Heights Primary received butter chicken for 11 days in a row and nearby Massey Primary School received Pita Pit wraps. Claire Kelly is the founder of Lunch with Crunch. Her company provided school lunches to 9 West Auckland schools, including Lincoln Heights and Massey Primary, until the government switched to Compass this year. Lunch with Crunch now supplies just 3 schools, with 2 of those contracts set to end by the end of this year. Claire joins me now, live in the studio with John. Great to have you both here. And we've turned the cameras on so that you can see, if you want to see, if you're able to see, what the lunches look like. And you can tune in at rnz.co.nz. Kia ora kōrua, great to have you both here. Claire, how have you felt watching the rollout of the new school lunch program and its teething problems, as it's been described?
Sad, very sad. The relationships we'd sort of built with parents and the trust that they'd given us to feed their children has been shaken quite severely. So yeah, very sad. Not surprised. We always thought a $3 meal was not possible, and not to the standards that the children need. So it's been quite hard to watch.
You've brought meals into the studio, so what's on the menu today? If you could take us through let's start with yours, Lunch with Crunch.
Okay, so
describe what's here and also tell us the price point as well, and then let's go into the comparisons with...
Yes, so this one here is one of our large meals. This is a chicken katsu, so it's on rice. It's chicken on rice, tegel breaded chicken on rice with sauce, coleslaw and pineapple. This was what we served today to our students. The next one along is the chicken sandwich. So it's just chicken mayonnaise with some sliced cucumber on some most delicious bread with a slice of orange and some carrot sticks. So it meets all the vegetable requirements that are in the meal.
And they're lovely little triangle sandwiches.
Things that are attractive for the kids, easy for them to eat, especially the little ones. They eat with their eyes a lot. And then this meal here is our chilli. So this has 60 grams of vegetables in it, cooked vegetables. And then there's meat and there's rice and there's the corn chips that we side inside and a little bit of cheese sauce on the top.
And it's also worth noting that they are in what we'd recognise as regular size takeout containers that are cardboard.
Yes, compostable. These ones are in compostable boxes. Yes, that's right. So these tend to be, that one tends to be the favourite with the kids. I think
the chicken katsu.
Chicken katsu, yes. But yeah, the other two are quite popular meals as well, especially with the hot weather. The chicken sandwiches.
And we've got with the chicken sandwich, we've got an orange segment and some nice wee pieces of carrot.
Yeah.
Raw carrot.
Yes, raw carrot. That's right. There's a vegetable content that we have to have in the meals, and it's quite hard to do on the sandwich meals because it can be the kids don't want carrot sticks every day, so find a bit of variety. But I think most parents would recognise that as a healthy meal for their kids that their kids would eat.
Now you've brought in the comparison that was also sent out to schools today.
We have. So this was one of our schools that we used to provide for. So we've got the macaroni cheese here, with the ham in it, and this one here is their dal and rice.
The portions, first of all, look a lot smaller than your portions.
They do. The food, this is a bit of a strange thing to say, but the food is a little bit smellier, which I'm guessing is because it's been kind of, cooked in the packages. It's not as appetising.
And describe the packages if you could.
So the packages is like silver boxes with, so these two are silver boxes with polythene over the top. The other meal here, which is just, I do struggle with because some of our schools have had this a few times. This is a jalapeno and vegetable curry with rice. And I don't know, I've got...
Jalapeno and pepper.
Yeah, jalapeno peppers. I've got 4 kids myself, and I would struggle, certainly when they were younger. I mean, if this is going out to 5-year-olds, I would struggle to get them to eat a jalapeno vegetable and rice curry. And also, I think, when Minister Seymour talked about woke foods, I would say that is a lot more woke than any of these 3 meals. And you know, where are the sandwiches and fruit that he spoke about after the budget?
And also, it's worth noting that we couldn't get the plastic sealed wrap off the top of that jalapeno.
Yeah, we couldn't get that one
combo.
off. And also, you know, today I've seen stories about the plastic that's in the food. You can see how that happens, and these do come very, very hot. So, you know, I think there was a bit of people mocked it a bit when they said that the kids were finding the meals too hot. But I mean, we're talking burning plastic. That is actually very hot.
And of course, these are aluminium, the other 2 dishes that you've pointed to as well.
Yeah, so my understanding is these have to be scraped before they're sent back. So the teacher or whoever it is that is at the school has to scrape them. That in itself is sort of a different process to us as well. As when we were providing lunches, the expectation on us was there was a lot of expectations around what should be in the meal in terms of vegetables, meat.
Let's talk about Lincoln Heights.
Yeah.
Because you used to have that contract.
Yes.
Lincoln Heights had 11 days of butter chicken in a row. Tell us about what you used to provide that school.
Yeah, that's absolutely heartbreaking because Lincoln Heights was one of the schools we worked the best with. I felt like we had a really great relationship with the principal there and the teachers. We mixed things up a bit at Lincoln Heights. They asked us what we could do. When we heard after the budget that we would be losing our year 7 and 8 year olds, we sat down with Alicia and worked out a way that we could provide lunches for the whole of the school. Obviously on just the budget that we would be provided for the year 0 to 6s. And so ways to cut costs we came up with was a table service situation where the kids, we would put the meal in, so their hall, they've got roughly 500 children there. It was 2 sittings of 250. The first sitting would come in at about, I think it was about 12:15, and the second one would come in at 12:45. We would have the meals laid out for them. The kids would have plates and knives and forks, and they would help themselves to what they wanted. It was a worry to begin with because we were concerned that the big kids would, you know, get in there first and take all the food, and we were absolutely amazed that didn't happen at all. The children were so lovely with each other. The big kids looked after the little kids. They were helping them. They were explaining the food to them. You know, if the little ones didn't know what something was, they would help them with it. We saw children, you know, there were some children who brought their own lunches as well, not a huge amount, but there were a few. But what we saw is that they would eat the fruit that we'd provided or the vegetable sticks, you know, to supplement their lunches. It was really the programme working exactly how it was meant to be.
And you also used Lincoln Heights kitchen.
Yes, so we use their, so that's our preference is to use an on-site kitchen, and the reason for that is, you know, it saves us renting kitchen space, which is great, especially as we only work term time, and also the kids get quite excited in the morning. You know, they come running up and they're like, you know, what are we having today? What are we having today? The smells permeate the school, so they're kind of excited by that, and then when they sit down, they eat a lot more, you know, eat better. Certainly the Lincoln Heights thing, it just seemed a much more humane way of eating as well, you know, sitting together at a table. As I'm a mum myself, I really worry about the mental health of our children, and I think a lot of mums do, and there's very clear evidence to show that sitting together and sharing a meal improves mental health outcomes, and you could see it in action at Lincoln Heights. It wasn't easy for the school. They made some changes. They swapped some of their lesson times around a bit to make it happen, but we all agreed that the outcome was excellent.
Was it cheaper to make those lunches in the schools, like in Lincoln Heights? What did it cost per head?
So previously, we don't set the price. The government set the price. So what we did is we provided as much food we could in that price. But yeah, there are definitely doing it on site is, you know, you can do it cheaper on site, and actually the service style as well. You know, it costs less to serve it on a platter than it does on individual boxes. As part of our contract back then, we were required to dispose of all the waste as well. That came within the money.
Was there much waste?
No, actually, once we had that method, particularly, everything got eaten. I mean, some of those kids are big sporty kids, so we did the little ones in the first sitting, the bigger ones in the second sitting. So often, if there was any fruit or anything left over, the bigger kids would plough into it. But also, the other thing is we were told all the time by the kids what they liked and what they didn't like, and we could see with our own eyes. So, you know, if at the end they just ploughed through the fruit, they loved the, you know. And
so for Lincoln Heights, when you were taking care of that school, how much did that cost per head?
So we did. So their school had small meals and medium meals, and the small meals were I'm trying to think what it was.
Could you do it for $3?
No, I could probably do it for $4.
Why do you say no to 3?
I think three would probably be a little bit tight. Labour is actually one of the biggest costs. So the food is obviously part of the cost, but labour is quite a big cost. The government is so previously schools were allowed to opt to an internal model, which meant that they organised the preparation of their food and cooked it on site. Leisha has asked us if we could be part of that. That they then get $4 for the meals. Leisha had asked us if we consider moving to that model, which we would, but unfortunately, every time we've approached the ministry, we've been told we're not allowed to because the meals have already been promised to Compass. So they can't change the numbers of meals that Compass has to provide. To get the economist scale or whatever, they're not allowed. So Lincoln Heights is not allowed to provide meals for its children on site. They had to be made in Hamilton.
I want to come back to what you were providing because it's not easy to keep everybody happy. Did you have any complaints about your food? The quality or the menu that you offered?
No, we had a couple of bloopers, didn't we? Couscous was not a popular meal.
Couscous not a go.
Not a go, and we served it to one of our special schools, and it was particularly hard for them because texturally it was not what they wanted. And we also did a sort of a Vietnamese noodle salad once, which we thought was very nice, but actually just didn't go with the kids. We did learn that coriander is you either like it or you don't like it. So we try to lean away from coriander, don't we, do it really? But yeah, no, our meals were the uptake was pretty good. But then that's because, if something didn't work, we could change it straight away.
And the kids were very quick to tell us if they didn't like something.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure they were. And I imagine once you heard that, you didn't keep pushing it.
No.
How did you find out that your contracts were ending?
So that was pretty awful as well. We knew after the budget, David Seymour announced that he was going to move the Year 7 pluses over to the school lunch collective model, and that we would have lost about 25% of our business.
We're coming up to the top of the hour, but I just want to ask, what happens to your business now? What's the future?
So I don't know. There's a clause in our contract where they can pull us in 30 days.
If you could speak to David Seymour, what would you say to him?
Just this is a mess and it's really sad, and this is the best chance we've got to give all our kids, not just low socioeconomic, all our kids a healthy start to really thrive at school and to really, what's the point of teaching calculus and algebra if we can't teach them how to put healthy food in their body? And that we're up against, billions of dollars of advertising and more chemicals in food than we've ever known before. And this is something we need to be teaching our kids how to eat, what to eat.
Thank you, Claire. Thank you, John, for joining us.